It's been a rough month.
4 long weeks, man.
But we are back in the win column.
Man, it feels good to win.
By we, I mean the Carolina Panthers.
No, just say we. We're part of this, man.
Yeah, because we got to put up.
We got to put up
when they lose.
We got to sacrifice our emotional well-being. We're part of it.
Carolina Panthers today defeated the rival Atlanta Falcons 19-13.
Atlanta Falcons
in a game which felt like two teams fighting over who could just
suck more.
Yeah, just
yeah.
I don't know if anybody. I think that they did both want to win because there were, especially when the hits. There was some hits.
There was some hitting going on, man.
There was some hitting today.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Shaq Thompson, because he got trucked too.
Yeah, he got trucked by Mike Davis, former Panther Mike Davis, and he came right back, gave a little bit back to him. Robbie Anderson took a brutal. All the hits were clean. I don't think the only flags thrown on a hit was the ticky-tackest roughing the passer.
But you could decapitate somebody today, and it's clean. Let it play on.
They took Robbie Anderson out of the game. Sam Darnold.
You know what's unfortunate about? I'm gonna tell you what's extra unfortunate about Robbie Anderson getting hit, because all game I was like, man, we hadn't heard Robbie Anderson's name the whole game.
Well, we heard it,
and we heard it loudly.
It was one of them hits when they show it in like high speed slow motion. No, when they show it in slow motion, his body's all But he got taken out of the game. He did come back and made the play of the game actually to secure the onside kick, and it was a really good onside kick. Actually, he caught it, and then Sam Darnold put everything on the line. Our brother Vince said he did it out of guilt, but I think Sam Darnold got some grit to him. I'll give him that.
No, you gotta give his props, man. Yeah, dog. It was a gutsy win and a really, really gutsy game by Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
he overcame a lot today, man.
He did. He didn't have. It wasn't spectacular. He was a game manager today, and he ran when he needed to, and ended up taking a monster hit at the goal line at the end. But it led to a touchdown. The very next play by Chuba Hubbard, and it didn't even have to be that way. Right. Speaking of Chuba Hubbard, the very first play from scrimmage.
I got a question for you. I know you'll be honest. What were you thinking when Chuba Hubbard fumbled that ball the first play of the game? What were your thoughts?
Trade him. You got to go, bro. No, I mean, I like Chuba Hubbard a lot. Right. And I liked when the Panthers picked him. I was happy about that pick. And he's not Christian McCaffrey, but I feel like, and this may be something we see more in the future, I feel like the Panthers early in the season should have done more spelling of McCaffrey with Chuba. I'm
going to down that sword.
Yeah.
Even when McCaffrey comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I kind of think what they were doing today with Abdullah and Chuba was kind of preparing for, okay, when McCaffrey comes back, we want to run this like two-back offense. Right. The Carolina Panthers, the biggest issue in the last 2 seasons, is that there's no identity to the team. At least no offensive identity.
Right.
And I know that Matt Rule and Fitterer haven't gotten around to building the offense yet, but what kind of team are the Carolina Panthers offensively? They're the Christian McCaffreys.
I am glad you mentioned that today, because before we went on, me and you were having a conversation about what Matt Rule wanted to do last week versus them kind of abandoning the game plan last week, and we see how that turned out. I think this week was way better executed. I mean, that's Captain Obvious saying, but last week they wanted to be the team to run the ball, manage the time of possession, let the defense get stops when they need to, have Sam Darnold not turn the ball over. And that kind of worked perfectly today. You know what I mean? The identity that Matt Rule was talking about, it came to fruition today.
It did.
Yes.
I felt like last week they abandoned the run too early. They were very inconsistent with it today.
Yeah.
They stuck with it even when it didn't, the very first play of the game was a fumble.
And look, speaking of that, and I like the fact that they went right back to Hubbard on the very next possession. You got to give them credit for that.
Short memory.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Now, to be fair, it was the Falcons, but it's a division rival.
Yes.
You got to win. The Panthers are now 2-0 in the division.
I mean, regardless who it is, we're both desperate for a win, man.
Both desperate for a win. This gives the Panthers back on the 500 win column gets them back to 500. Big game against the Patriots next week, who the Panthers should beat, but they may not.
Yeah.
And I think going 5-4, I would consider 5-4 halfway through the season, more than halfway through the season, to be a success.
Because we all predicted before the season, all of us were like, 7 and 10. What is the 17-game season?
Yeah, I said 9-8. I thought the Panthers would go one game above 500.
Right.
Rodney said 8-9.
Right.
So they're right about there.
Dude, it's funny to say it now because we've been very critical of this team the last 4 weeks, which is deserved. Let's be clear about that. But it's just so crazy to sit here as a 500 team now and have an entirely different perspective. This is NFL football from week to week. Right. You know what I mean? And now it's like, wow, we could easily be a game over 500 next week.
Yeah, we said this last week. Christian McCaffrey may be back next week, but Stephon Gilmore, who we'll talk about more in a bit, is back. Shaq Thompson is back. So now they're going to win some games, and it's going to be like, man, they're going to make people start believing again.
Right.
But this is just the second year of the rebuild.
I think that's what's important to keep kind of drilling in the fans' head because, again, man, those first 3 games they got us hyped. Let's be real. It may have been fool's gold. Kind of looks that way. Let's just settle down.
We're still ready to say full gold because I still maintain that was a different Panthers team.
It was.
You can take any team in the league and you take away their 2 best players.
Listen, I don't care what Cam Irvin says. That offense is predicated around Christian McCaffrey. I don't care what anybody says, man.
You could take any other team in the league. You take away their 2 best, one of their best defensive players and their best offensive player, and they will no longer be the team that they were.
Right.
And it just so happened that those 2 injuries came right before we play one of the best teams in the league.
Absolutely.
And Dallas did a good job of exposing the flaws in the Carolina defensive front, and other teams have followed that game plan.
I want to say something real quick, and I want to make this quick because this is something we could easily go off on a tangent, and I don't want to do that right now. But when people talk about trading Christian McCaffrey for whatever, we see the proof why you probably should hesitate to do that. I know the injury history is there. Yes, nobody has to mention that.
Right.
But let me explain why. We have already seen that you have to change your whole damn offensive identity when that guy's out.
Which, when people talk about trading McCaffrey, what do you trade him for that make the Panthers better, either long-term or short-term? Short-term.
Right.
It's hard because there are no other
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And that's a very short list, right?
And those of you that follow the news, it came out that the Texans didn't even want Christian McCaffrey because of his salary.
Right.
And he was never even on the table as far as the trade goes for Deshaun Watson. So props to the Panthers for finally getting a win without CMC, and they did it via running the ball.
Yeah, no, and if you look at Sam Darnold's stats, man, they're not gaudy by no means. 13 for 24, 129 yards. But you know the most important stat?
That zero
that you see under the INT. That is the most important stat.
Actually, I was thinking the 0 under the sacks column.
That too.
He stayed upright the entire game, and he was under quite a bit of pressure. There were 2 particular times where the O-line just forgot to block. Either that or the protection was not correct. It just, man. And somehow he was able to avoid.
But again, but goes back to what I said. That kind of figured in what he overcame a lot because the offensive line still obviously is disjointed. To be nice about it, you know what I mean. He had to overcome some drops in the first half because Tremble dropped the pass and other guys were dropping passes. And
let's talk about that. Right?
That's still an issue.
Real quick. The Panthers lead the league coming into this game.
20.
They led the league in drop passes.
That's a high number, man.
And I'm certain after today, they will maintain that number 1 ranking as far as drop passes. What is going on?
I don't get it, dude.
Okay. When Cam Newton was the quarterback, and this is not a bring back Cam Newton.
Because God knows we don't need any more of those again.
But when Cam Newton was here and the Panthers led the league in drop passes, the narrative was what?
Oh, he can't. He's not accurate.
He's not accurate.
If he threw the ball more accurately,
he's not putting it in their chest. He's not throwing them receiver open. Okay, Cam Newton's gone now. We got Sam Darnold. Well, actually, we had Teddy Bridgewater, who is one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
Panthers led the league in drop passes. He leaves. We bring in Sam Darnold. Panthers lead the league in drop passes. Maybe,
just maybe,
our receivers aren't good.
Maybe it's a receiving problem.
I love DJ Moore, but I need more Smitty out of DJ Moore.
Look, man, we are not professional coaches. We don't know what goes on in these practices every day. But here's what I surmise, dude. It's simply a lack of focus. Sit. And to me, that speaks to like culture stuff. I don't want to get too deep into and going on a tangent, but what else is it? You know what I mean?
For instance, there was it was like a smoke route or a hitch route the Panthers ran. And DJ Moore had to block.
Right.
He had to block the corner.
And he completely whiffed on it. Whiffed on the block.
It's not that he whiffed on it. He just gave up on it.
Right.
And you know what I'm thinking?
What?
If Steve Smith does not let that guy come off that block.
That dude would have been imprinted in the field.
Yes, there's no way. Or Musim Muhammad, who was also another great Panthers wide receiver who could block very well.
Yeah.
DJ Moore just kind of gave up on the block, and the cornerback was able to make the play, hit for a loss. And it's kind of like, dude.
But see, that goes to what I was about to say, man. Like, bad teams beat themselves. Good teams pay attention to those small details.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we are a young team still trying to figure out how to win. Now, luckily, stuff like that today didn't bite us in the butt so much where we lost the game, but it could in the future. It will against good teams. Because on top of that, there were a lot of just critical penalties on third downs, late hits, holding calls, just stupid stuff.
Which I would say that is kind of uncharacteristic. I think Matt Rule has done a pretty good job of keeping the guys disciplined.
Right.
But I think at this point in the season, the Panthers are realizing, man, we're not as good as we thought we were. And it's kind of, I think it's creeping into their game time mentality.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It
is. But that's why I expect a guy like DJ Moore, who, let's be honest, essentially is a veteran at this point in his career. He's got to be the one that shows these guys like Terrence Marshall Jr. and Tommy Tremble, hey, here's how you do it as a pro.
Speaking of that, it is no coincidence the defense played so much better with Mr. Shaq Thompson.
Isn't that weird?
Coming back today.
They only gave
no
up,
coincidence.
To me, they essentially gave up 10 points. They gave up 13 only because Atlanta took a field goal that they could try and get the ball back late.
Right.
But, okay, now you're back to home. And although it's just the Falcons offensively, although they were missing Calvin Ridley,
they're still a good offense.
They're still good. I think they're probably a better offense than Carolina is without McCaffrey.
Right.
And they did a pretty good job of pressuring Matt Ryan. They goaded him into a mistake late in the game that I totally called while we were watching. I said, hey, Matt Ryan interception coming up. And he threw it right to Stephon Gilmore.
Hey, for those who are watching right now, if you have time, please go on our Twitter page and look at a tweet that I sent out that shows that Kaiser called that interception. He sent us a message in the messenger saying, here comes a Matt Ryan interception. And 2 minutes later, boom, it happened.
Yeah.
Negro Damas.
So Danny Thompson wants to flag the show for spam.
Why is he not calling in today?
Yeah,
hey, Danny, the phone's on, bro. You want to call in? Talk about your Falcons today, man?
So odd that he's.
And where's Pollard? I don't see him in the chat today talking crap today.
No, he did say F you, Jamal.
Oh, okay. Hey, how's it going, brother? Yeah. Hey, Pollard, please be safe on I-85 North, man. The traffic is going to be bad, man. Listen to some Outcasts on the way back to Charlotte. Whatever you got to do, just be safe, bro.
Yeah. So, it's weird, though. I didn't feel anything after this win. The only satisfaction I felt was
is a talk.
Yeah, we can talk.
Falcons
fans. Exactly.
Yeah. We both suck.
Jump to our friends Prahlad and Danny. Both these teams were not good. They're both in the midst of a rebuild.
Yep.
I think they've taken two different directions.
Right, absolutely.
Carolina said we're going to focus on our defense. The Falcons said we're going to focus on our
because the Falcons actually held on to their franchise QB through.
They did, even though he had a fall off very similar to Cam Newton, and clearly Matt Ryan is not the same Matt Ryan that won MVP a few years ago. So but they have Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts looked great today. Yeah. We had to put like our best
whole defense
on him. Whereas the Panthers said, okay, in our rebuild, we're gonna focus on our defense. And honestly, I think that side of the ball is going well.
No, I do too. I think I like what I saw from them today. So, hey, speaking of that, I gotta run out and get my Stephon Gilmore jersey, dude. I do. It's time. I don't care. I've seen enough. I know it's a small sample size, man. But to come in here and to not play football in what? I don't know, almost a year, really? Yeah. You know what I mean? To come in here and get a turn, get an interception, man.
That essentially seals the game.
To contribute to holding Kyle Pitts to 13 yards and 2 catches.
And what's funny? I think the Falcons at times said, okay, let's try. Let's see what he still got.
Right.
And he had just enough to where, you're not going to burn stuff on Gilmore.
Right.
He's not as fast as he was, but he just knows the game so well. He can cover so well.
Yeah.
And that last interception, he just outstanding positioning. I can't wait till the whole defense is healthy. The next year, man, you're going to have J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, C.J. Henderson, A.J. Bouye, and Stephon Gilmore.
That is going to be crazy. What are you going? And then, but on top of that, you got the rookie Keith Taylor, who was playing pretty well up at this point.
Yeah, he's had a shaky start because he's a rookie. But I felt like he had some good plays today. And
man, we are not talking about somebody that we should be talking about. Mr. Amir Abdullah. Coach Rule came out in the press conference after the game and said this dude gave the team the energy they needed today, and I could not agree more, man. Like he was a spark, and I really now to be honest, I didn't think we'd see him running the ball. I thought he's strictly a kick return guy, but Matt Rule decided to throw a little,
do something
different. And it paid off today, man.
8 carries for 31 yards, a long of 9. And I know those stats don't jump out
at
but
you, right?
If you watch the game, you can see the difference. I would love to see when McCaffrey comes back, a stable with Hubbard, Abdullah, and CMC.
Right.
You can have CMC out there and one of these other guys out there.
One of these 3 other guys.
And the defense has to make a decision.
Right.
You can have some really creative play calling without having to run McCaffrey into the ground every play.
Because I can easily see Hubbard and maybe McCaffrey in the slot sometimes. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Yes.
So we'll see what Joe Brady does. We'll see what Joe Brady does with this good problem to have when McCaffrey comes back.
He's not going to do anything with it. He's not going to do anything with it.
He's just going to run McCaffrey to the ground.
Yeah, finally,
I get to run you back into the ground. Is that
all right? McCaffrey Texas route. McCaffrey halfback draw.
McCaffrey power.
Power left, and now we're going to go power right. Clever, right? Oh, McCaffrey pulled a hamstring.
Right.
And, that's what it's going to be.
I don't want to see that, but I'm pretty afraid that we probably are going to see that. So.
I need to see more from Joe Brady.
Same. What do you think about him today? Let's talk more about him today, man.
The play calling was adequate.
Yes. That's a good word, dude.
The Panthers clearly said, okay, we're just going to run the ball. And I will say this. We didn't see the same runs over and over and over again.
Right.
They mixed it up some. There wasn't any trickery. It was just, we're going to line up our guys. We're going to line up your guys. And we're going to run the ball, which was gutsy considering how poor the offensive line is in both pass blocking and run blocking. But they did pretty well. 47 runs. Some of those were not designed. That's not counting. Actually, 46, not counting the kneel down by PJ Walker.
Mm-hmm.
So,
who I never want to see on the field.
Chuba Hubbard, 82 yards on 24 carries and a touchdown. Outstanding numbers. Sam Darnold, 8 carries for 66 yards. He's looking like like Cam Darnold out there, man.
Dude, gutsy. I mean, he put on the line today, man. I really don't have smoke for Darnold today, man, because he put on the line today.
He did not lose us the game.
Right.
And there were times, the Panthers converted on 7 of 11 third downs.
Yeah.
Or 7 of 12 third downs. That's right, because at the end they had to run the ball to run the clock out. But those third downs were huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely,
he recognized, this is man coverage. I'm just gonna take off.
God, man, I'm telling you. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what I noticed today from Sam Darnold. He made it easier on himself.
Right.
Those little tight windows that he was throwing to in these first 5 to 6 weeks of the season, he wasn't doing that today. He took the easy reads. You know what I mean?
Take what the defense
he took what the defense gave him today, even if it meant getting decapitated by somebody or throwing the ball out of bounds. He just made the smart play today, man. That's what we need from him.
The only risky play he made was the throw to DJ Moore that should have been a touchdown.
Right.
He actually had I don't know
who
the back was.
Honestly.
Great throw. Great catch, actually.
Yeah.
But he just
ran out of room.
It popped out when he hit the ground.
Yeah.
But he had I don't know if it was Hubbard or Abdullah, but they were open in the flat on the opposite side of the field. They were running like a mini wheel route.
Right.
It was open, but you got DJ Moore downfield. You got a chance to go for it. He went for it, and it didn't work out that way. That was probably the only risky throw he made. I know some people are going to blame him for the hit on Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
But that was the correct throw.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just the NFL, dude.
Yeah.
That's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, it's football.
Yeah. He was open.
He was wide open. Yeah. And like Mark Sanchez said during the broadcast, DJ Moore had to, here we go with that effort thing again.
Yeah.
You got to carry the safety up the field.
Right.
You can't just be
trotting
down the sideline because then the
safety. You have to not look. If you're a decoy, you can't act like a decoy. You're gonna act like you're gonna really get. You gotta act like you want you want to go route. And but the safety knew he ain't going nowhere. So safety made a smart play, man.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He clamped down and made a huge play.
Tell you what I liked about. Sounds crazy to say this. I'm gonna tell you what I liked about that play. Afterwards, Sam Franklin got in that dude's face. It's like, all right, buddy, stop celebrating.
That's enough, I thought that was
that the team needed something like that at that time.
The team needed something like that, especially a team, 4 straight losses.
Right.
They're still the locker room's not lost yet.
Yeah.
Is what that
and that's a good sign. You gotta love it because dude, we don't have to talk about how crappy everybody felt after last week, man. So
I've erased that game from my memory banks. They mentioned it during the broadcast, and I was like, "Really? We lost to the Giants?" I remember that.
All right, man. Who you got for
offensive MVP?
Yeah,
Chuba Hubbard. Running game was big today.
Yeah,
he put his foot in the ground and made some key runs, and that was big after considering he fumbled the first play of the game.
Right.
I think a lot of guys, particularly rookies, would have been down on themselves.
That was big, man. Yeah,
and he just forgot about it. And actually, I would have rather that happen the first play of the game rather than late in the game when the Falcons need the ball back.
Right.
So you get that fumble out of the way, 82 yards and 1 touch, and also have 1 catch for 9 yards.
I'm going to pick Sam Darnold only just to be oppositional because I kind of agree with Chuba Hubbard, honestly.
I was going to say Sam Darnold, actually, which is weird considering his stats don't look
great. They're not gaudy, but I'm going to go with Sam Darnold only because it was so gutsy, and I really appreciate those type of games from a quarterback. You know what I mean? I like the ugly wins. The ugly wins build character. Yeah. And I don't mind the ugly win with the Panthers right now, man. So I'm going to go with Sam Darnold.
A lot of QBs wouldn't have run that ball or rather they might have run it, but they would have slid. Oh, right. Sam Darnold was like, hey, slide. The end zone was right there.
He said, I'm going for that line right there. Yeah.
He got absolutely crushed.
He got crushed, man. Look, I don't want to put this in the air, but please be well next week. I do not want to see PJ Walker.
Yeah, you know what?
Let's talk about that real quickly. I know we against time with the Panther segment, but let's talk about that real quick.
Last week, I did not agree with the benching of Sam Darnold, even though he was playing terribly. I don't like benching your starting quarterback in a situation like that. I'm just not for it. It's such a college shit.
College shit.
It's such a college thing to do, because the commentators even said the Panthers were only down 12.
Yeah,
and I know you're thinking,
not insurmountable theoretically.
Yeah, I mean the Panthers came back the week prior down 2 touchdowns and came back to send the game to overtime. So you take away that opportunity, you put in a guy like PJ Walker, who we like, by the way, but he's not ready for that kind of situation.
Right.
He has not practiced with the first team. Right. He's not familiar with the plays you're going to run.
I'm going to be way more hot takey than you are. Here's a hot take, buddy. You ready?
Yes.
I think I'd rather see Will Grier than PJ Walker if it came down to
Vince, where you at, bro?
Man, let me explain, dude. Listen. Before I say this, I know it was a crazy tough situation to be in last week. I get that.
Right.
But 3 of 14. Then today, another tough situation. You almost gave the Falcons so much hope by turning that ball over, and that could have easily been a pick 6.
Yeah.
Those 2 things are disastrous in my opinion.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if Will Grier would do anything like that. Of course, I'm not saying this guy's like exponentially better or whatever, but
PJ Walker's style is, he's the mobile gunslinger kind of quarterback, which is fine, but in that situation, you cannot be that kind of quarterback.
Thank you. Which is why I would go over Grier in that situation more than Walker.
And actually, that play, even though it wasn't an interception, hurt the Panthers because the Falcons, for some reason, scooped it up off the ground like they thought it was a fumble, and ran the ball all the way back.
Yeah,
and ran the play clock. The play clock's running while they're doing that.
Come on, clowns!
And then we get a delay of game because by the time the ball comes all the way back, there's only 15 seconds on the play clock.
Right.
Although I'm going to blame that on the refs, who were terrible today.
Yeah,
as usual. I will say I'm glad, even though the Panthers took some big hits. They were clean hits. They were not dirty, and the referees did not overreact to those hits.
Yeah.
Although tripping Matt Ryan was a 15-yard penalty, or touching the top of his helmet.
I thought I was the only one that thought that.
No, it's like, what?
Man.
Oh, he hit him in the head. It's like, oh my god.
But never mind.
Yeah.
Defensive MVP. Can we just say this at the same time?
1, 2, 3.
Shaq Thompson.
Shaq Thompson.
No more to say, right?
Yep, that's it, man. What a comeback game for Shaq Thompson. 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. 8 of those were solo, but he made such a big impact. And what I loved how he went at Mike Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. Set that tone, man.
Yeah, Mike Davis.
Mike Davis was out for blood today, man.
Oh, he was.
He wanted to have a good game today.
I really think Mike Davis was salty about the way the Panthers did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually kind of don't blame him.
Don't blame him.
Yeah, because it's
yeah.
So he wanted to come out, prove something. He
set the tone early.
He ran over Shaq Thompson.
Yeah.
And then Thompson was like, no,
sir, no, he ain't fucking nothing over here.
He ain't doing that no more. And he got him back a few times later. Great game from him. Also, thank you, Brian Burns, for coming back.
Yeah, man, glad to see you.
Welcome back to the team.
Welcome back to the pass rush.
Yeah, he had only had a half sack today, but he was big. Causing disruption in the backfield.
Hassan Reddick as well.
Hassan Reddick had a sack today, of course. He might be the Panthers' best defensive player so far, besides Shaq Thompson. But he's the guy. Although I love Brian Burns, but I think Hassan Reddick's the guy.
I'll tell you who had a sneaky good game today. Dante Jackson. You know why? You didn't hear his name. And that's a good thing.
When you did, it was because he broke the pass.
Absolutely. Yep.
I had a very big pass breakup late in the game on a deep ball.
I'm clean too. Couldn't even think about.
I think a lot of teams like to target Dante because he's kind of small.
Yeah, right.
But he's fast. He
can
stay with guys. Yeah,
he's very competitive.
And also, congrats to him for having like a healthy season so far.
No doubt.
Past Dante Jackson has been off the field. Injured.
Dante Jackson's going to be at the end of the season.
Free agent,
pay up. Somebody's gonna do it.
It won't be the Panthers.
Probably not,
because they're gonna say, "Dog, we got
Stephen
Gilmore. Have a good career, Dante Jackson." And I hope he does have a good career. Actually,
Yeah.
I like Dante a lot.
No doubt, man.
We got 10 seconds left to talk about the Panthers. Predictions next week.
We win next week. I think we win next week, and I think it's another low-scoring game. I think it's going to be the same type of game we saw this week.
I think the curse of Cam Newton's going to shift to New England just for a week.
Right.
And then because we did Cam wrong, but
They
really did Cam dirty.
Man.
So
I mean, they threw that dude out like Uncle Phil did Jazz, dog. Like for real.
Yeah. So I think the curse of Cam shifts, and Mac Jones is playing. You'll hear a lot of people talk, well, Mac Jones is playing well. He's playing best out of all the rookie quarterbacks. The thing is, all the rookie quarterbacks are playing absolutely terribly.
Right. So the bar is pretty low.
Yeah.
But let's see how he plays with Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns in his face.
Fully healthy defense next week.
Absolutely.
Except for J.C. Horn, but Stephon Gilmore, he's going to want to.
Come on now.
He's going to want to show out.
He's going to want some get back.
And I bet Belichick's going to be like, look, Mac,
stay away from that dude.
Do not throw.
Don't throw the 9.
Do not. And he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, no. They don't know what he's talking about. I'm going to throw that way.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
But again, I think another low scoring game. If I had to throw out a score, man, I'm going
14-10.
I'm going. Well, I'll go a little higher. I'll go 21-17. So
you think we'll get 21 points?
Now you got me second guessing now, bro. I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay,
just be optimistic.
Yep. All right.
Hey, man, do you know what today is? Do you know what today is?
It's not just Halloween.
It's not just Halloween, y'all. It is Bobcats Halloween. Yes, let's get it going, man.
Why don't you explain to the fans what Bobcat Halloween is?
I want to be clear about something before I explain this. Bobcats Halloween was originated in the OG Charlotte Hornets group by Vince Dunlap, myself, and you, and Rodney Richardson. I want to make that clear because there's some people out there who want to claim Bobcats Halloween. But we created this.
You don't get to do that. Yeah.
So it's basically just a very humorous way to look back at the unfortunate years of the Bobcats, for the fans who really stuck it out through those ugly times. So we just embrace those ugly years and we make a joke out of it. It's a good time, y'all. Please don't take it so seriously because you got people out there, oh, I don't ever want to hear the Bobcats again. We're the Hornets now. We know. Just have some fun sometimes, man. So if you're going to the game tonight versus Portland, wear your Bobcat stuff just as a joke. Just don't take it so serious.
That is a part of Charlotte professional sports history.
Whether we want to acknowledge it or not.
Like an entire decade nearly, we were the Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah.
And it's funny how we try to erase
history.
That, but it happened.
It happened.
Worst team in NBA history, like literally.
I was there.
Yeah. I went to 3 games that season, and none of them were wins. So
Remember when Darren Williams dropped like 90 points against us that season?
Yeah, and I remember going to work the next day. That's back when I used to read the Charlotte Observer, and I used to have it delivered to my desk at work. I get to work and go to sports. Like 60 there, right in the trash. Terrible season.
Listen. That game was my last one. I said, I can't do this anymore. I checked out. I said, I can't do this anymore, man.
Yeah, when someone from the opposing team says, this is everybody's house.
Yeah, right.
That's all you need to know about that season for you young ones who don't remember.
Well, all right, man. Enough of that. Let's talk about
it. It's a new day.
It's a new day.
7-59 is no longer
a thing. It is in the wind.
4-2. We are 3rd in the Southeast, which is kind of weird.
Right.
Who knows? It's too early in the season to tell.
Way too early for
anything about anything.
Right.
I think there'll be some regression to the mean for some teams.
Because we got a gauntlet next week, buddy. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. So, there's that. But the Hornets last week, great week. I would consider last week a success. We played the Celtics, the Magic, and the Heat.
Yeah.
We went 1-2 during that stretch, but I think the narrative on the Hornets has not changed. They're a tough young team that is looking to be competitive this season, and they will probably be a playoff team. They'll definitely be a play-in team, but Miles Bridges said in an interview after the Orlando win, they don't want to play in the play-in again.
Right.
They
want playoffs.
They want to succeed at least.
Right.
And that's what they are aiming for.
So, man, I want to talk about this Celtics game first, man.
Oh, boy.
And
what a heartbreaker.
It was a heartbreaker, but sometimes, I say this all the time, man, sometimes it is okay to give the other team credit. It's okay to do that sometimes, man. The Celtics were 1-2 coming into that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds crazy to say so early in the season, but they were desperate for a win. You know what I mean? They didn't want to go 1-3.
Right.
So let's not act like Jason Tatum ain't a scoring machine.
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown's pretty damn good. He pulled a Miles Bridges that game.
Bridges. Which is, you know what's weird about just talk about that dunk just for a little bit. Miles Bridges got so much respect from the internet for trying to block that dunk. Normally when someone gets dunked on like that,
you get clowned.
And nobody clowned Miles Bridges.
Because most people know that in the overtime, when you're trying to win a damn game, you don't just sit there and look at somebody dunk.
If Miles Bridges, who is one of the best jumpers in the league, had not jumped for Jaylen Brown, I would have been disappointed in him.
I think he might have been sitting down after that.
Yeah, he would have been disappointed in himself as well. I do wish he had tried to block with the left hand. It would have probably would have blocked him.
Yeah, but man,
right.
Jason Tatum, 41 points, man. Just take your hats off to him. Dennis Schrader, 23. Jaylen Brown, 30. Here is something that I really don't like about us right now. This is what I don't like about the Hornets right now. I don't know what it is about us in these first halves and us not really being engaged defensively or locking in defensively or being tough or physical. That has been a trend that has kind of been going on a long time.
You know what I mean? It is a very young team, and they don't know how to manipulate referees.
Right.
Because the difference in the Boston game was Boston ratcheted up the defensive intensity.
They did, right. When they needed to.
Right, especially in overtime. And they were not afraid of getting calls.
I'm going to cut you off. I got to give some props to Ime Udoka, the Celtics coach. In that fourth quarter, he said, you know what? We're going to run some full court pressure. We're going to start trapping the ball. They got a couple of turnovers and some critical baskets in that fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, man. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, but the same thing. The Celtics did, but we were not able to. They were not afraid of fouling.
Right.
I think sometimes the Hornets are afraid of fouling, and I think that might be
LaMelo's not afraid of fouling.
Well, I was going to say that might be the issue with LaMelo Ball.
Right.
I think LaMelo Ball's fouls are very silly fouls. And Coach James Borrego even said that. They're like, here's what LaMelo Ball does when he fouls. He'll be D'ing somebody up, and they'll get past him, and he gets frustrated and just turns around and smacks them.
Silly foul.
That's a silly foul.
That's a silly foul.
Okay, you lost your matchup.
Yeah. Let your teammate handle that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let the help defense handle the rest. He'll learn that. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But I think that kind of permeates down to the rest of the team. Cody Martin is like the only person who is not afraid to play defense.
Right.
Because he's not
look, if he gets 3 fouls in the first minute, he goes sits down. He's like, all right, cool. All right, hey, you know what? That's it, man. Yep. Hey, I get it.
Whereas the Hornets just got to playing defense, especially tough physical defense, is a mentality. That's why a lot of teams don't do it. We beat the Nets because we were physical and they were not.
But you know what's funny, man? When we play those really good teams, the Nets and the Bucks, why does it feel like we're not as afraid to be physical with them? But when we play the Magic and the Cavs,
I don't.
It's weird, right? Am I off base when I say that?
That's correct.
I think it's mentality. I think when you play somebody like the Nets, it's kind of you have this fearless attitude. You know what I mean? But I think when we're playing like teams that are kind of on our level, we kind of play to that a bit, and sometimes it bites us in the ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it did in the Celtics game because again, we're digging ourselves out of this hole every second half. We can't continue to do that.
No, they've got to start. I think if they start off defensively with intensity,
yes,
that will lead to easier scoring during the half or the first half, and you can carry that intensity very rarely do you see NBA teams start off with a lot of defensive intensity and then it drops off.
Yeah.
Unless they build up like a monster lead.
Right.
But you don't want to have to build up defensive intensity because then you're playing from behind. I think if you start with that, you can carry it throughout the rest of the game. Also, though, it didn't help, and I'm about to step on a lot of toes.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Somebody's about to be mad.
The next time fans in our arena chant MVP for somebody else.
Don't get me started, man. Don't even get me started.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Let me speak to that. So the argument against you, somebody's going to say, well, there's a lot of people from Boston who live in Charlotte now.
How they getting tickets?
How they getting tickets, y'all?
How?
And how does that explain to people who are from Charlotte that me and who became Celtics fans
now, listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't sell your tickets to Celtics. You can sell your tickets to whoever you want. Your tickets, right?
Right.
Go to the games, though, man.
Go to the games.
I get it that, hey, you might not be able to make it. Look, man, a lot more important things in life than going to a basketball game. Absolutely.
We get it.
Damn, that many people. Now, just from watching on TV, maybe someone in the comments can tell me, because Swagner said way too many Celtics fans.
I'm sure it was. I wasn't there, but I'm sure.
It was 6,000-7,000 Celtics fans there, and that's probably not an exaggeration. Right. Based on what I saw on TV.
Yep.
I mean, almost half the arena is cheering for the other team. That's it. And we when Jerry Valancourt was on the show a couple weeks ago, we talked. That's one of the things we talked about. What is it going to take for Charlotte to get this culture where
the easy answer is winning?
But I don't think that's going to be it though.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
now I think it was our brother Rodney kind of made a good point. If I'm remembering correctly, the Hornets they got to do right by the fans a little more too. And what I mean by that is like some of this grassroots stuff, like under construction, hint. So bring back the Buzz, whoever.
Our fans are your fans, Charlotte Hornets.
Thank you. Right. Do right by them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Get the TV situation fixed if you can. Now that's complicated.
That's big, yeah.
It's complicated, and I don't know the ins and outs of that. But whatever it takes, fix that. You know what I mean? Get some of these journalists press passes again. You know what I mean? There's certain things that the organization has to do right by the people who support them. So we got to start there. That needs to be said.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy because there was one time in Charlotte Hornets history where
you would never saw anything.
That was never. And here's the thing. The Hornets weren't good then.
Listen.
Back when we were breaking attendance records, I understand the Hornets were new, and that was kind of like the new thing, and that was part of the reason that.
But the passion was there.
I mean, the old Coliseum had 24,000 seats. I mean, that's almost 10,000 more than we have in.
Look, Kyle, let me say this, man. We got to talk about these other two games, and I don't want to go on a tangent about this, but I want to say this though. I have seen Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, David Robinson. I've seen all those guys come to Charlotte, North Carolina, and not have that kind of reaction.
Right.
And those are
Hall of Famers. We're not talking about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is a good. He's a good player.
He ain't them.
He's not them. Yeah.
And I didn't see that kind of reaction with them. So that's why you get old grumpy guys like me and Kaiser who are kind of upset about.
I'm just saying, if you're the Hornets and your fans are chanting, not your fans, but the people in your arena are chanting for the other guy, how hard can you possibly play?
Right.
Y'all talk so bad about how much we need to keep LaMelo Ball. You think LaMelo Ball wants to hear that? You think LaMelo Ball
if you really want to keep LaMelo Ball, go pay your money to go to them games and cheer for him. It's simple as that.
Trust me, this is the most exciting the Hornets have been in a long time.
Yep.
Let's do right by them. But yes, other two games. Interesting stat. The Miami Heat game was the first time all season of the first 6 games that the Charlotte Hornets were out-rebounded by the other team. And
it's very interesting.
I know that sounds like a dumb, there's not possible, especially considering Sabonis had 800 rebounds against us. But we actually out-rebounded them that game. We out-rebounded Cleveland, the Cavs in that game, which is odd considering they have a much bigger front court. We out-rebounded the Celtics by 1. We out-rebounded the Magic, who has Mo Bamba, who everyone in Charlotte loves. And then the Heat come in and they get like 1,000 rebounds, and now the problem's rebounding.
Now the problem's rebounding.
It's like,
now it's I told you so. After the first 5 games.
After the first 5 games, I knew it. The Hornets came out.
I knew y'all was wrong.
Like, hold on, man.
Wait, time out.
We've been rebounding pretty well, actually. Now that,
but see, interesting point, man, about that particular game. Mentality. Sometimes rebounding is about you just want the damn ball more.
Okay, here's the dirty truth about the Heat game. You know how long we lost? Because LaMelo Ball played like
crap. He played like crap. Yes. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Y'all, that doesn't mean we hate the dude. That doesn't mean
we love when everyone else was saying how much they hated him before we drafted him. Under construction was like,
we were ready to hang that dude's jersey on top
like,
forever.
Vince convinced us. We were like, you know what? He's right.
That dude's right. Yeah. That dude's it.
LaMelo Ball's going to be it.
With that being said, when he plays bad, we're going to call it like we see it. And he played terrible in that Miami Heat game when we needed him to play good. Now, we're always fair. We are always objective. There was, I guess, a rumor that he was ill. He wasn't feeling well. So
yeah, to be fair, I'll give him some of that.
Yeah.
But he didn't play particularly well against Orlando as well.
Right.
Mainly due to foul trouble.
Yeah.
He might have been battling some illnesses there. But I'm just saying the Hornets lost by 15. But I feel like if LaMelo Ball is there, then or if LaMelo Ball is playing well, then the game is closer down the stretch. And we can maybe, it's not a 15-point game at that point. I mean, LaMelo Ball was negative 11. All of the starters, actually everyone on the team had a negative box plus minus in the Miami game, but his negative 11 was the third highest, only to Jalen McDaniels, who's the highest at negative 16. I want to talk about him real fast, and Mason Plumlee, who was negative 13 in 18 minutes because he was losing that matchup, and JB made a change that was not popular with many people.
Right.
Going small against the Miami Heat.
Right.
But I think he felt that way because the Miami Heat's not a big team.
They're not.
They're small too. Yeah. It's just that their small bigs are better than ours.
They play bigger. They're not bigger, but they play bigger. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to tell you something else I'd like to see more of because you noticed against the Heat, man, there was a stretch in the fourth quarter where Gordon Hayward was getting pretty hot. And not only was he getting hot, he was aggressive. I'd like to see some of that assertiveness earlier from Gordon Hayward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Gordon Hayward is in this place where he wants to defer
I don't like that.
To the young guy.
I don't like that.
But because he knows this is not his team.
It should be. And that may be unpopular. I know how unpopular that's going to be.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna make a lot of people mad. Gordon Hayward's still the best player on this team, until somebody else proves me otherwise. And right now, the only other person proving
we're gonna get flamed for that.
Oh, of course,
right.
But we're always right. The only other person right now that can lay claim to that is Miles Bridges.
Right.
And as much as I love LaMelo Ball, he's not the guy yet. Yeah, it's only his second season.
And before people come on here and be all crazy, we know LaMelo will be. We know that.
He's going to be a superstar.
He's going to be a superstar. We're not worried about him, man. But at this present day and time, man, Gordon Hayward needs to be the guy. Because I feel like in these fourth quarters, he's always making the right basketball play, even if he's not scoring. But he's always making the right plays when we need him to. Right. And I just think that alone needs to have the ball more for that reason.
Absolutely. I need to see, because it's always at the end of these close games, who's the guy on the court closing them out? It's Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
And here's why. Gordon Hayward is actually an excellent 3-point shooter. He shot 5 for 8 against Miami. Yeah. It's crazy. But he doesn't take threes late in the game.
Right.
Why? Because he's a vet. He's a pro. He knows, I'm tired. I can't be shooting threes, unlike other people who I will not name, who will just come down the court and shoot a three.
From half court.
With a minute left in the game. Right. I know you're tired. Gordon Hayward's got a great mid-range game. He'll drive in the paint. He'll do his little fadeaway. He'll score 2 points. Those 2 points are huge at the end of games.
Look, as we're talking through this, man, I'm thinking about this on the fly. We got to understand, before this season started. He hadn't played basketball in a long time, man.
That's true.
You know, and it's very early, so we don't know what's going to transpire throughout the season, man. But it is still early, and we may see something different from him.
Yeah, I mean, the Hornets still a young team. There's still a lot that they have to learn about themselves, and that I don't think it's Borrego can't say to them, "Okay, you are going to be. This is your role. This is your." They got to figure all of that out themselves.
Look, there is somebody I do want to give a little bit of smoke to for that Miami Heat game, and I want to be very clear before I say this. Y'all have been overly hard on Miles Plumlee. Mason Plumlee. I'm sorry. I'm going to mess it up a couple more times, but people have been overly critical of Mason Plumlee. With that being said, he was pretty terrible in that Heat game as well.
He was bad.
There was a play. There was one play that stuck out. All right. Off of a made basket, Miles Plumlee is jogging back, and the Heat throw the pass. I think it was down to Adebayo, maybe or somebody else. I'm forgetting who it was, but they essentially get a pass and go for a dunk. JB calls a timeout immediately. He says, "Mason, you need to come sit down, buddy."
He's too slow of foot to keep up with guys like Bam
consistently,
and that's one of the reasons why against the Pacers that he was guarding Sabonis instead of Turner. Miles Turner.
Right.
He's big and slow. He eats up space, and he can use his frame well enough to rebound.
Right.
Someone in the comments asked, they said that the Hornets are bottom 5 in defensive rebounds. Mm-hmm. How they fix being a bottom 10 defense. The problem is not that the Hornets cannot rebound. It's that the Hornets are 27th in opponent field goal percentage. If your opponents are not missing shots,
you're not going to rebound.
There's no rebounds to get.
See that, and that rebounding is a tricky stat. What you really got to look at is rebounding differential. That's going to really tell you the story about rebounding, because and just for the reasons you said, that stat is kind of going to lie to you a little bit.
Now, the Hornets are actually middle in the pack in 3-pointers allowed, which is
an improvement.
Great considering where they were.
Yeah.
But they're near the bottom 27th in opponent field goal percentage and field goals allowed.
Right.
You got to play defense to get defensive rebounds, and the Hornets aren't doing that.
But what I was told was all they need is a center, and that'll just fix everything. That'll fix
all the problems. So the Hornets go out and they get a center who right now is averaging 10 rebounds a game.
Right.
And we're still having rebound issues. Go figure. There's something else there.
One person doesn't solve all your ills.
Exactly.
That's my point. And listen, we know the Hornets need an upgraded center.
I've always maintained that you don't need you have to have a good front court to win in the NBA.
Right,
okay?
Absolutely.
So it may not have to be your center, but whoever plays the 4 and your wing have to be good. Yeah. I think we're good there. Miles Bridges can play the 4, obviously.
Right, obviously.
And then Gordon Hayward is our 3. If you've got that, you don't need an elite center. How many teams, look at all the teams that won the championships, how many elite centers are on those teams?
Right.
Not many. Right. They have guys who can run the floor. You just need a guy who can run the floor, rebound.
Be physical.
Because
I will say the physicality is a problem with our team.
I think that defending the rim is a bonus. Yeah. I don't think that that's something you need out of a center in today's NBA, because centers play so far away from the rim anyway.
Yeah.
But that's a bonus.
And on top of that, man, I just think the rebounding and the toughness is such a team concept anyway. You know what I mean? That doesn't come from one position. That comes from a team mentality. So it's just deeper than just needing one guy, basically.
Exactly. Also, the Hornets are 7th in the league in offensive rebounds allowed.
Yeah.
You know what that tells me? They can get rebounds. They can rebound, but you got to make the guys miss their shots first. And also this is some trickiness with the schedule. We played the Nets, which Kevin Durant, he's not going to miss.
Yeah.
You can play the greatest defense in the world.
Unfair.
He's not going to miss. And then Jason Tatum was on
fire.
Couldn't
miss either.
Sabonis on fire.
Right.
We've played these guys that have had like these great
offensive games,
which makes the fact that they're 4-2 even more amazing.
Right.
I mean, everyone that's played against us has had Cole Anthony.
Yeah. Right.
Went off.
Right.
So these guys are having these great games in and it's making that the field goal percentage stat look bad.
Yeah. But again, man, I mean, not to sound like a broken record because JB has been a broken record for so long saying the same thing, dude. You set that tone in the first half, and it makes things easier for you because that caught up with us in that Heat game. You can't dig yourself in a 20-point hole and expect to be able to come out of it against a very good Miami Heat team with very good, well-coached Miami Heat team.
Yeah, experienced. I mean, that is essentially the team that went to the finals 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
They're going to know how to win in that situation.
So, Kaiser, I hate to say this, man. We have a hell of a gauntlet coming up next week, buddy, including tonight. Yeah.
The return of Cody Zeller.
And look, I'm going to say something. Cody better get a damn little tribute tonight.
He will. The fans will go crazy.
Dude, they better put a little video. Big Pat better say his name crazy. Something. Cody needs something, dude. I don't care what these fans think. I want a little tribute for Cody Zeller. Did you see what he tweeted today? He's still doing charity work around Charlotte, man.
You know, he spent his whole career here so far, 8 years.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean.
He can't help where he got picked.
Exactly. You know, I think Cody was well liked in the locker room. He was liked by the coaches. He always worked hard. He played to the best of his abilities.
Right.
Unfortunately, you know, he had a ceiling to his abilities, and I still think that if he hadn't been the number 4 pick, fans would have liked him a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason people didn't like Cody Zeller was because he was the number 4 pick, and then they'll be like, we could have had who else came out of the draft? Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, who won number 16.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so
that guy.
So props to Cody, man. I hope he has a terrible game tonight, though.
Yeah.
But
don't come for the Hornets revenge game tonight.
Okay, so next week.
Yeah, man.
By the time you guys see us again,
we're not covering the Portland game tonight.
No,
so Portland,
Cleveland, Golden State, Sacramento.
That's it.
You'll see us again. And they play the Clippers that next Sunday night. All of those are on the not all of those are on the road. Golden State, Sacramento. Golden State starts the West Coast road trip, which they play Golden State, Sacramento, LA,
Memphis,
and then Memphis.
Woo! Let's not go that far yet. Let's.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like anything about this schedule.
That is. You want to talk about setting up a young team for failure? Like the scheduling gods hate us right now, dude. Anyway, with that being said, Portland, Cleveland, Golden State, Sacramento. What's our record next week? What you got?
They beat. Oh, come on. They beat Cleveland and Sacramento.
I'm with you. I'm going to safe pick 2-2.
Yep. They lose tonight.
Can I be honest? I hate to put this in the air. I hate to do it, but we're brothers. I'm scared what Dame Lillard's going to do to us tonight, man.
Dame Lillard's been playing not like a superstar.
He's been playing terrible, which scares me.
And the only saving grace, the only hope, Kelly Oubre will probably be guarding him tonight. And I think
we just hope he can slow him down.
Yeah, I think that size difference might be enough to make Dame think. I love Terry Rozier, but that's not. That's not a good matchup. Yeah. And then please don't put LaMelo Ball on Dame Lillard,
right? Because he'll have 2,000.
Please don't do that. Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. You want to talk about that?
Sure, why not?
LaMelo Ball does not need 53 minutes a game.
Guys, let me look in the camera. Where is camera at? Hornets fans, when national media and big guys, people who have been in basketball for decades, guys like Gary Valancourt, local media members, when they tell y'all that LaMelo won't play and probably should not play 40 minutes a game, don't look at us like we hating on the dude and we're telling y'all something bad. Everybody knows this except y'all. LaMelo stands. Calm down. He will have his day here.
Calm down.
It's gonna be okay, LaMelo stands. He will get to the point where he's gonna get 35 minutes a game at some point in his career. Not in his damn second year. Y'all calm down, please. Thank you. That's my TED talk for today.
Yeah, it's just and plus he'd get more minutes if
He stopped fouling every damn 2 minutes.
Yeah, if he was more disciplined. LaMelo Ball he's still young, y'all.
He's 20 years. Is he even 20 years old yet? I don't even know if he's 20 yet.
I don't know if he is. Yeah. So he gets some silly fouls. He takes some silly shots near the ends of games, and once all that's done, LaMelo will be fine.
He's going to.
We're only 6 games into the season.
Into his second season.
Come on, y'all.
Y'all calm down.
And plus, we're 4-2. We're winning without LaMelo Ball coming in and wrecking his body and contributing these minutes. And
right.
He's learning.
JB got this, y'all.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think the Hornets go 2-2 next week. And then after that,
that gauntlet is
they're going to lose a lot of games. But, I say that because this is on paper. But I think the Hornets are better.
They're going to be more competitive than we think.
They're going to win some of these games they shouldn't win. Golden State is a very good team somehow.
Yeah.
Well, because they have Steph Curry.
Yeah.
But they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Portland could go either way. I'm picking the Hornets to lose, but honestly, that could go either way.
It wouldn't surprise me if we won tonight.
Absolutely not. The Clippers look very vulnerable.
Yeah.
The Lakers. Now, come on, y'all. All right, so on paper, the Los Angeles Lakers
are a better team than us.
Are a better team, but
however,
they don't look very good. But we're playing on NBA TV at 10:30
and
LA time, so we're gonna lose that game.
And LeBron just, he wants to make.
He's got a thing against.
He got a thing for the Hornets.
For the Hornets,
he does.
So,
he does.
But this is LA.
Yeah.
Be in LA. LaMelo Ball is gonna go back to his hometown.
Yeah.
The fan. I cannot wait to see the fans at that game.
Same.
You know how they always show the celebrities at the game?
Yeah, right.
Everybody's going to be
LaMelo
at this game to watch LaMelo Ball versus LeBron James.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping LaMelo, this is what he loves, that spotlight. I think he'll play well. I think the Hornets will play well that game. I don't think they'll win. God, don't let Malik Monk score 42 points. Oh my
God. I'm not ever logging on social media if that happens, man.
Ever again. Oh, I do want to address a question in the chat real quick. Someone said, what do we think about? Are we okay with the rookies going to the Swarm when the G League season starts?
Absolutely.
Yes. There's been a lot of talk about how Kai Jones and Book Knight are not playing. We don't need them to play.
That simple answer. Let me tell you something, man. Look, I have seen James Bouknight's entire collegiate career up until this point. If I'm not clamoring for this dude to play, then we're good.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. If you're one of those people who just are hell bent on Bouknight getting playing time, then you are seriously not watching Cody Martin. It is that simple. You are not watching what this dude is bringing to the team.
I don't know. I might have said this last week, but I'm going to say it again. LiAngelo Ball, if he wants to make it in the league, he needs to watch Cody Martin film. Watch Cody Martin film. That's exactly the kind of player the Charlotte Hornets need. Cody Martin has improved his shooting.
Yep.
Which is something that a lot of people said LiAngelo Ball could bring to the Hornets. Cody Martin is playing outstanding defense. He played, he slowed James Harden down. I don't want to say locked him up, but he held him to 15 points.
He sparked us against the Heat. We ended up losing, but he sparked us.
Yeah, so our team's good. Send the rookies to the G League. I want to see what LiAngelo Ball, James Bouknight, and Kai Jones do up in Greensboro.
People need to stop complaining about the good problems that the Hornets have. That is a good problem, y'all.
By the way, Terry Rozier only played one game this game.
Played one game this season, dude.
Yeah.
And we're here. Y'all, it's going to be all right, man.
Be all right. Shout outs.
I got a lot of them today.
All right.
I got a lot of shout outs today,
Hit them off
bro.
your Halloween shout outs.
Man. First and foremost, shout out to Mr. Danny Thompson and Pralad Faulkner. We're your daddy again, and things are going to get back to normal, and you're probably not going to be beating us for a while. So shout out to the Atlanta Falcons and all their fans. I like taking a dump in that monstrosity you call Mercedes-Benz Stadium or whatever it is. I don't even know what it's called now. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's our house now. So shout out to the Falcons and their fans. I also want to shout out something I saw yesterday. Listen, man. I watched the Florida State Clemson game, right? There's one thing to lose. There's one thing to lose. There's another thing to lose to Clemson. But then there's another thing to lose to Clemson's referees. We don't like blaming referees for losses, Damn it, that's not me today. I am blaming the referees for Florida State losing to Clemson yesterday. That was the most egregious, atrocious performance by referees I have seen in a very, very long time. The referees literally gave Clemson the game yesterday. Rodney, I noticed you're not saying much because you know it's true. That's why you're not talking as much junk, because you know it to be true. So a big middle finger to the ACC and Clemson's referees. Other than that, man, shout out to Plaza Midwood, because they're being attacked. What do I mean by that? Developers and gentrifiers are attacking the very soul of Plaza Midwood. Last night, Plaza Midwood's soul was in full effect. So many good vibes last night, man. The Soul Train Halloween party at Snug Harbor, Gravitate at Petra's. That is what Plaza Midwood is. That is the essence of Plaza Midwood. Let's hang on to it as much as we can, man. Other than that, I think I'm good. That was my shout outs for today.
Shout out to the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 8-0.
8-0. Go Canes, man.
And what's crazy about that is that the Canes made some offseason moves that
were not popular. They were freaking out.
Fans did not like them. And, well, it's hard to argue with the result. More proof. Every day there's proof that we don't know what we're talking about. We're just sports fans. Me and Jamal, we act like we know a lot about sports, but there's a reason why we have a podcast and a streaming YouTube show
that people actually pay attention to.
And we are not front office members.
Right.
Those people have jobs.
There's levels to this
because they are very good at it. So shout out to the Carolina Hurricanes. And I think the fans, like any fans, need to be
patient.
Yeah, or
want to listen more.
Your team's 8-0.
Your team's 8-0.
Be happy.
Be happy. Live in the moment.
Right. Be happy. Same with Hornets fans.
Charlotte Hornets fans, live in the moment.
Be happy, because when you see this schedule, here's the time. You know what's going to happen.
You already know. When we go through this gauntlet and we win 2 games, see, I told y'all. I told you we ain't that good.
Yep. So that's what I think. I'll just say this. Being an objective fan does not mean anything.
It doesn't.
I'd rather see homers supporting,
especially in Charlotte.
Especially in Charlotte. And a lot of people feel like if you hate on your team, that means you're being objective. That means
you're being objective.
I'm smart and objective because I recognize how flawed our team is. Shut up. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Be quiet. Be quiet. If you want to support the team or not. I will say, though, I'll agree that Jerry Valancourt came on here and he said, hey, you got to criticize the product.
Absolutely.
So by all means, do that.
But there's even a way to do that.
Yes, keep it in context. Keep it in proper context. Be happy.
I couldn't have said it better.
Having said that, please criticize the Carolina Panthers every chance that you get, because they are only 4-4. They are not 4-2. That is my shout out and shout outs for the week. And that's gonna do it.
Make sure y'all rep tonight, man.
Yes, you guys have a safe Halloween.
Podcast Halloween.
This is the first post-pandemic Halloween, so just be safe out there, man. Charlotte's crazy,
no doubt.
Y'all have a good time. Eat some candy that has drugs in it, because we know that people put drugs in candy. That's what they do. That's what they do, right? That's all on Facebook. So if you're worried about drugs in your candy, you just bring it to my house, and I'll take care of that problem for you.
Till the next time, brother.
Y'all have a good night.
Oh man, happy Halloween, y'all.